Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into a new video, and I've got some very bad news for everyone who's invested in this series. I am actually going to kill it off. Now when I say that, what I'm actually meaning is that I'm going to be scrapping the project as it is at the moment. I wanted to go through some of the reasons for that before I go on through to the good news. The main reason is that we're using an old version of Unity that most people wouldn't probably get at the moment. The other problem is that we're using an old version of Invector that a lot of the new people that are coming to the series aren't actually able to collect anymore. And of course, with the illness of the author of the RPG add-on, it's been very hard to keep up. I've tried to port it over to the new versions of Unity and the new versions of the Invector shooter template. Unfortunately though, it's almost a lost cause. With all the changes that have been done, we have to completely rejig the system. So it's just not going to work out now. What I'm actually going to be doing though is I'm going to be developing my own RPG system based off another one that I already have the stuff for, and I've been porting it across and using it. The benefit of this is that it will actually be up to date for the latest Unity, which is the 2019 series of Unity, as well as the new versions of Invector. And one of the big reasons for that is that the new version of Invector is coming out is actually super awesome. They've updated some of the stuff here. As you can see, they've got the generic action and inventory features that have changed. So now you can do a little bit more with the generic actions. Now the reason for this is that you can do certain things, like if we have a look at this video here, you can see it's going along. You've got an interact, and you can see that it's got the timer that raises, so you actually can set this up so it's like a harvesting system or anything like that you can do. You can have it set so that you can only use items within certain areas, all sorts of cool things like that. There's custom settings for some of the animations and some of the items here, so you can do a little bit more with playing around with your items in the inventory. You can also do this one here where we've got item animations, like such as the bandaging, which you can see in this video here. So this is actually good for one of the things we wanted to do, where we can have items that are magic spells and play special actions as you use the item. So we can have, like, you know, spell scrolls, things like that. Now if we have a look at this one here, this is the building thing as well. This is actually an add-on that they've got in progress at the moment, and it's based on some of those changes that you see there where we had that timer interaction thing. We can now actually create or instantiate objects in the game after building them. These are destructible ones too. So what we can do with that one there, and one of the things I wanted to do with the new RPG system that I'm putting together, is doing things like you can actually have a kingdom builder, so you can build housing complexes, and you can build like, you know, useful or usable buildings in the game. So you can actually, you know, have a building that recruits, you know, knights, like a barracks, and you can recruit allied forces to come fight with you on that as well. Yeah, so that you can also build, I think, automated turrets and that in this video is what that goes on there. They're also updating the Invector AI system to have a few more features such as cover, secondary shot, and then throw here, so they can throw grenades. Also comes with like benefits to the companion system by having a follower and stuff like that, so you can actually have a bit more variety with your AI. That's if we're going to go with that AI system. So as you can see, some of these updates are pretty cool, and the things that I want to add. So in order to use it with the new system, I just have to pretty much build from scratch again. But what I will be doing is we're making it a little bit more, I wouldn't say modular, the series. I think when I'm going to be revamping it, I'll be continuing the series in a modular fashion, where I have one set of episodes that are based on, you know, fleshing out the locomotion control, sort of like I did at the start, where I sort of focused it on getting that character set up, and then the next part will be, you know, setting up some of the other features. I mean, I've got so much that I could go on about, but it's sort of trying to compress it here so I don't waste too much of your time. The new RPG is actually going to be a lot more in depth. With this one that I've been doing here was more of like an action adventure RPG with some quest elements, just showing you how to sort of quickly put together some of the different components of the RPG add-on. But the one that I'm developing is actually a lot more along the vein of the Elder Scrolls style, so there's going to be a bunch more features. There will be more skills and spells, as well as the actual RPG stats that you get, so like your strength, dex, and like all your character sheet stuff, and they will affect your skills in the game. And they'll also, you'll have your level will increase your power, and those stats will also affect the number that you put out, and that will all be purpose built for the Invector shooter template. So it will actually feed all those damage counts back into the Invector template onto the items themselves, so that when you are using a sword, it's not just the number that you put on your sword for the damage. It'll actually be an equation that's based off your stats and off the item itself mixed together to give you that damage amount that it will feed through automatically. One of the other features that I'm going to have with the RPG system is that it will actually be what you see is what you get. So in the inspector, it'll just be forms that you fill in the info from, so you won't actually have to do any of the coding yourself. You can add in some, I'll make it so that you can actually add in some of your own code if you've got your own skills, or if you want to have special things set up for it, but you'll be able to actually just fill out or have fields there for all your background lore stuff, so your different races, your different armor types, any of the sort of historical stuff that you want to put in as the lore for your game, such as locations and all sorts of things like that. So it is pretty much just fill out, and hopefully that'll make it a lot easier for people that are new to coding and are new to building video games but have that sort of dream RPG that they want to make. It'll make it easier for them to put it together. Now, one of the things that you're probably thinking of now is that, like, if I'm going to be releasing this as an asset and that you're going to need this stuff here, am I going to charge for it? The answer is no. I'm not looking to charge for the system itself. If I do make a video game, obviously I'll be putting that up for an amount that you need to pay for to play it. Sorry for any background noise there. Very good. So I'll be releasing the asset itself so that you can actually get this system and put it on top of Invector. The reasons for that is that I actually work a full-time job, so I don't need the money as far as that goes. I'm not working to support myself here. I'm doing this as a hobby. And the other thing as well is that with my full-time job and all my other commitments to different projects and things like that, I can't sort of guarantee the aftercare service for a lot of it. So maintaining it to the more up-to-date stuff, it'll be based in 2019, so Unity 2019.1 is the one that I'm currently using, and it'll also be built on the latest Invector system that comes out. Most likely we'll actually include that building add-on just to make things go through, and I'm not sure if they're going to release that for a paid amount. I think they will, but everything else that you see here you'll be able to port across. So all of your art assets that you've gotten for your old project you should be able to use. On that note as well, you will actually be able to if you're using this version of Unity and the version of Invector controller and the version I've got in this program for the RPG add-on, you will actually be able to make and complete an RPG game. It does actually work. There's been a lot of bugs in that we've come across and things that I can't sort of work through myself. Unfortunately, I've lost contact with the author because of his health at the moment, and also because Skype has been playing up on me. But you are actually able to do it, and hopefully I've given you enough of a sort of mindset for how to look through some of the problems that are coming up and where to look to for the solutions for that, as well as a couple of tips and tricks of how to work with the Invector controller and the Invector system. Yeah, so you can actually make it, but as it is, because I want to try and support something that's a bit more ongoing, and I wanted to add a little bit more depth and things to the world, that I'm going to just completely revamp it, and that way I'll make it a system that I can keep supporting and as much as I can. And hopefully make it a little bit better for you guys to follow along. So that being said, the system is actually already built for the most part. It's a previously existing RPG system. I'm just porting it across to work directly with the Invector controller, and yeah, basically restructuring it so that it will work the specific way that I want it to. Once I've put that together, I'm going to be releasing it as an asset, and then you can download that and add it on top of your Invector template, and then I'll be pumping out videos with how to actually use it and put it together. And yeah, as I said, we'll make it a little bit more modular a series, so that you can actually, if you're not going to use like the AI that comes with Invector, you can actually switch to your own AI, but you'll still be able to watch the different episodes that set up the rest of the system. The system itself won't be too modular. All the parts that are in it will actually need to be utilised, and as I said, it'll be more focused like an Elder Scrolls style game. So there's actually going to be a lot of extra features. I think I already mentioned the skills and the spells and things like that. So items that you can use will actually act as spells. You can unlock different skills, things like that. You'll also be able to have a few other functions which will depend on what AI system we use, but likely will still work. I'm planning on a notoriety and also a stealth system, so you'll be able to actually sneak around, and if people spot you, you know, it'll count against you if you're trying to commit a crime, like say steal an item or something that's not yours. You'll be stealing it, and if people see you, then you'll gain notoriety points, and you'll have to pay for your crimes, that sort of thing. And people will treat you differently in the game depending on that notoriety score. So we're looking at that scope and that level of depth for the game itself. So that's going to be a lot of different changes, but again, I'm going to try and make that as easy as I can to implement in the new system. Anyway, I'm not going to waste too much more of your time. Thank you for watching again, and thank you for those that have stuck with the series for a while. Hopefully I'll be able within the next month or two to have everything ready to go so that we can start getting back on track and wiping our system and starting again from scratch with the new RPG system. Again, thank you for watching, and yeah, hope to see you again in the future.